in terms of how we should respond, how the West should respond, and what mistakes were made in Ukraine, I think the first question has to be, how far are you prepared to go in defending your perspective? Because if you're dealing with a Vladimir Putin, you've got to have a show of force. You cannot go to Putin and say, here's a slap on the wrist. This company's assets are going to be frozen for the next 5 years or whatever. Who cares, right? He doesn't care. His only question is, are they going to stop me? Is there going to be a U.S. fleet sailing into the Black Sea tomorrow or something like that? If you're prepared to do that, then I think there's a point in the hardline route. If you're not prepared to do that, and I think in Belarus, no one is prepared, to do that. If Russia invaded Belarus tomorrow, nobody in the West would come to help Belarus. I mean, they didn't come to help Ukraine, so they're certainly not going to come and help Belarus. And that is something to keep in mind. If the Europeans want to deal with Belarus and they want Belarus to become part of their association agreement or EU membership, then they've got to give them an opportunity to do that. And I think that's as far as it's going to go, right? And if you're going to do it, then do it, right? Don't dilly-dally around saying, well, we can offer you this, but you'd have to do this and this and this. Just do it. And I think with Ukraine, if in 2005, let's say, 2004, 2005, the EU had said to Ukraine, okay, you're going to be members tomorrow, it would have been okay. I don't see why it wouldn't have been okay. But immediately the barriers came back down again. No, we don't want Ukraine. But we'll take Romania. There's some obvious anomalies there. Romania in many ways is probably far less equipped to join the EU than Ukraine is. Belarus has got many advantages. I mean, it's got a highly educated workforce. Corruption isn't on the same kind of level as Russia and Ukraine. Oligarchs are much weaker. It has only one source of power in Belarus. You don't have to look very far from, where the power source is. It's there. It's in the presidency. Everything is there. So it's easy. It's easy to deal with these people. You only got to deal with one source. So this is where the problem comes in, I think. How far the West is prepared to go in each particular case. I mean, if this is some kind of democratic mission, to have every country of Europe democratic and members of the EU, well, then go ahead. But I think you've got to give them some incentives to do that. And just, telling them off, giving them, admonishments because they're not like the West is not going to work, because they're never going to be like the West.